Drawer making 107. We're gonna make a drawer for our kitchen cabinet. We're gonna make a 4-piece drawer and or drawer box and apply a drawer front that would match the door itself. So, round one, we need to record the drawer opening size. My drawer opening this time is 4 inches wide or tall, 4 inches tall, 13 inches wide, and we're gonna call that 14 1/4 deep. I'm gonna start off with that on my drawing, okay? 4 inches tall, 13 inches deep, and 14 1/4 deep. So we are going to use what we call the BLUMOTION tandem drawer slide. And it's going to come in here. It's called BLUMOTION because once it closes the last 1/2 inch all by itself. These slides are bottom mount. They fit in the case like this. And what's really important is the dimension between the inside of the drawer, because that's the way it's being captured. So, Bloom figured this out a long time ago, when we were fighting over importing plywood or trying to make our own. We started importing the Baltic birch. In that part of the world, they are on the metric system, at which point our 1/2 inch drawer sides are now 12 millimeter. That became a huge war. Well, for some reason, the Germans are the engineers and they will always be. So they had to come up with a different measurement system to build a drawer using those slides. They went off the inside dimension of the drawer rather than the outside dimension of the drawer, which is brilliant because it factors in the different thicknesses of the drawer sides and or material. So we're gonna do it that way. What that means is, whatever your opening size is, ours is 13, subtract 42 millimeter. 42 millimeter equals $1.05. So you got $13 and you take away $1.05, and what do you get? Ding, 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 11 3/8. So our drawer inside dimension is going to be 11 3/8. The length of the box is determined by the specification of Bloom, and I don't get to make that choice. It's 12 inches. And then if this number is 4, the specs say about 20 millimeters less. Forget about that. It's 13/16, but I'm going to call it an inch. So now my drawer is going to be 3 inches by 11 3/8 inside dimension, or ID, by 12 long. How thick are your drawer sides? I don't care. You buy plywood, it's whatever number you buy. If I'm gonna ask you to mill it to 1/2 inch, some of you are gonna bring me 9/16, and some are gonna bring me 7/16, because this tape measure sometimes is a big fat liar. Therefore, it doesn't matter the size of your sides. Anything between 3/8 and 5/8 works. So all I need to do here is tell myself how big the parts are gonna be. I'm gonna quickly draw in my joint, which we're gonna call a tongue and groove. And now I know what's going on. My tongue and groove is gonna be 1/8 of an inch wide by 1/8 of an inch deep, and that's it. What's my bill of materials? We just said that we're gonna have 2 sides. They're gonna be 1/2 inch plus or minus by 3, an inch less than the opening, by 12 inches. That's what Julius Bloom has specified. As far as the front and back goes, now they're gonna have 2 fronts or 2 backs, whatever you wanna call it. If it's the same size, I'm gonna call them both the same name. So that's gonna be 2 sides and 2 fronts, okay? Those are gonna be 1/2, again by 3, and the length, ding, 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 is in 11 3/8 on the inside dimension of the drawer. We called it an 1/8 of an inch tongue left, an 1/8 of an inch tongue right. That's a 1/4 inch. So my 11 3/8 inside dimension just became 11 5/8. And there's going to be 2 1/8-inch tongues. Okay? And those are my fronts. The drawer bottom, I don't care what it is right now. It's going to be plywood left over somewhere. I will cut this drawer out. I'll put it together. Then I'll measure for my drawer bottom, and we'll deal with that at that point. Okay? So this is what we got. Let's get going. How am I going to make that drawer joint? Well, I'm going to show you. But it'd be really cool if I actually had a flat top blade. Let's spend a minute on blade configuration. This happens to be a 50-tooth ATB plus R. ATB. Alternate top bevel. One is going this way, one is going that way, so on and so forth. But then the last one right here is a square tooth, which means it's a raker, and it does exactly what you're supposed to do when the leaves are on your ground. So you're supposed to rake them up. So I have now alternate top bevel with a raker, and notice the gullet. That's trying to clear the sawdust out of the curve. Now, our friend Young Chan, he's one of my heroes. You can look him up. So he called up our really nice people called Forrest. I can't afford these blades. In fact, I've never used this one. I bought it, put it under my pillow at bed, and I've never used it. But he's so brilliant that he got a typical ATB blade. There's no raker here. So each one of these teeth are pointed left and right. And he had them sharpen it so that each one of those teeth are actually blunt by 52%. So that it creates something flat, but it's a really nice blade that cuts well, and that would be the best blade. But I don't have $200 for a blade, so I'm going to leave that under my pillow. This one you can get for about $100. That's what I might recommend. And if you use a regular ATB and the thing fits, call it good, and we'll keep going. Okay, so I've just created my samples here. These will be my sides. But what I want you to understand, all my parts are the same thickness. I want this outside to be the same height as this. And now that I have these, I'm ready to do these. Now remember, the 12 inchers were my sides. These are my fronts and backs. The sides get the groove. You might want to call it a dado because it's cross grain, but I'm going to call it a groove, and I'm going to look and see what wants to be the top of my drawer and what wants to be the bottom of my drawer. What that means is I'm going to make an indication mark right now of where the drawer bottom is going to go and where the drawer bottom is going to go, and I'm going to keep moving because I might want to have the pretty side up or the ugly side up. Doesn't matter to me, but it might matter to someone. So I'm going to have my indication mark right there. So that should tell me how the groove's going to be, and I'm going to go ahead and mark this real quickly because the minute I turn on the saw, my brain goes into a different place. It's called safety and accuracy. And I can't be worried about what's going to get cut and what's going to stay. So if I look at this right now, I know that that's going to go bye-bye, but that's going to be my tongue. So I want an indication on all of these boards on who's getting the tongue and who's getting the groove. Okay, so let's cut these.